Hello and welcome to Some Dude Shed, the podcast from a shed. And it is a beautiful day today.
It is. Sun's out. Birds are out.
Sunniest country in the world, Northern Ireland.
The midges are out.
Sky is blue. It is a toasty 13 degrees Celsius outside. But yes, so we're gonna crack on with our game of True or False. We each have a story from the depths of history, and we're going to convince each other that it's real. It may not be though. So who wants to go first?
This is technically a mountain, isn't it? Like, is this shed up on a mountain?
It's well above sea level, so yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, who has a shed up a mountain? Just occurred to me there when you were doing that amazing intro.
Oh, I suppose. Kind of on a plateau. I don't think it's up a mountain.
The shed of the gods.
Anyway.
I'll go first.
All right, yes, please.
Charles II of Navarra.
False.
Okay.
And is that your final answer?
Go.
Charles II of Navarra. Anyone know where Navarra is?
Navarra. First thought is Navarra Desert, but no, that's the wrong one, isn't it?
Navarra.
Is that in Spain?
Navarre.
Navarre?
Navarra. No, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Navarra.
Oh, where is it?
It's a province in Spain.
Oh, lucky guess.
So my story takes place in 1350.
Oh, lovely.
Ish.
So medieval era.
Just gonna say the 1300s.
During the war?
No, there's no war. Well, there's probably loads of wars on. Nothing to do with this story. Charles II, King of Navarre, he fell ill. And being back in the 1300s, medicine wasn't quite developed.
It wasn't terrific.
Well, there was medicine, but it was like,
It wasn't quite developed.
suck on a frog and it'll go away.
Throw these leeches on your head and it'll suck out the bad.
Let me drill a hole in your leg.
Let me get that toothworm out of your skull.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Pray to God.
So what happened? So what happened to King Charles?
he fell ill. And one of the things the physicians of the day came up with was to wrap him like a mummy with brandy-soaked sheets and bandages.
Right.
Because, well, they didn't know what was wrong with him. So this was the idea they came up with, was to wrap him in these bandages and sheets. One of the female servants looking after Charles II didn't have a there was a thread hanging off the brandy-soaked rags. And one of the servants attempted to get rid of the thread because it looked improper.
Right.
I hope you're not going to say what I think you're going to say.
And she had a lack of scissors or a sharp cutting instrument.
I know what you're going to say.
So she thought, how else could I quickly get rid of this thread? She pulled out a candle. Well,
Right.
she got a candle and she attempted to burn the thread away. Now, for people who don't know, brandy's quite flammable.
It's very, very high alcohol content. Yeah, it would ignite.
Yeah, so basically she went to get rid of this thread with a candle and
Whoosh.
had a bit of a reddener on her face whenever he burst into flames. Like, when King Charles II burst into flames.
You just accidentally set the king on fire.
Just a wee bit.
Yeah.
And that's how he died.
Wow.
True or false?
What happened to her afterwards?
No idea.
She probably got a stern telling off. Maybe lost her job, would probably be the worst of it.
Witch!
Oh, she set him ablaze with her mind.
Witch!
Well, a little bit early for the witch stuff, I think. 1300s. Right, okay, so one thing I want to ask, what was wrong with him to make them think that wrapping him in brandy would be a good idea?
He fell ill. They didn't know what was wrong with him, and for some reason they thought that would be a good idea.
You have no idea on any symptoms?
I have no idea.
He didn't have a headache or
He felt ill.
felt ill. Okay. So they wrapped him in brandy. Now, I know a little bit about ancient medicine, medieval medicine, and it's really silly. So I can believe it. I can believe that putting someone wrapped in brandy would be, it could potentially be a cure from some crazy medieval doctor. But as Mr. Black said, the stench from the guy would have been insane. Surely she would have realised, this smells a little bit boozy, maybe I shouldn't light it on fire.
Well, maybe she didn't know alcohol went on fire.
Or she'd only had light ale in the past. She just didn't.
Maybe she just didn't know it was flammable. Maybe she didn't know he was soaked in, probably. Have you never made mistakes in your job?
We've all made mistakes in our job, but setting someone on fire, no.
Didn't have scissors.
Didn't have a scissors or a blade to hand to quickly cut the thread. So she thought, there's a candle over there. This'll do the job.
A loose thread hanging. False. If it was a loose thread, I'd be like, nah, it's at least your problems. Loose thread? Nah, that sounds a bit extreme for a loose thread. As funny as it is.
I'm gonna say false as well. It's it does seem a bit.
I really want it to be true. Don't get me wrong. I really do. But it's like for a thread.
You know, I can believe the being sick and being wrapped in brandy soaked rags, but the setting him on fire. I can't believe that. It's too silly.
You're both going false then?
Yeah.
I'm going false. Yeah.
Well, I can indeed tell you it's true.
Show
Really?
me the source. Show me the source.
Well, the source comes from...
Madeup.com. That's made me happy.
This is
in a way.
Francis Borland. Was an English journalist and author, 1778 to 1819. He done his research, and that's what he came up with the Illuminated Manuscript Chronicles,
Oh, lovely.
whatever that is.
Well,
And that's
he-
where he did research.
He was certainly illuminated.
Illuminated manuscripts, very pretty picture books, basically.
And there's also like another version of it where, to quote, he was fearfully burnt, but lingering nearly a fortnight in the most terrible agonies.
Oh dear.
That sounds the most realistic.
So he was set on fire, horrible burns, and just suffered.
And that's
Weeks.
John Cassell's moralistic versions.
Because alcohol, it doesn't exactly like, you don't get roaring flames with alcohol. It's more like a fine flame that kind of dances on the surface of. You know
If
what I
you're
mean?
wrapped in it, though.
Nah, you wouldn't go up like woof. Like you wouldn't. Nah. Plus there'd be time. Like I mean, it wouldn't be. Yet most of the alcohol content would burn off or evaporate off before she would have even got to light it. So
Mm.
I'd say yeah, he would have been. That would have been the third one. Would have been more likely. He would have survived it, but like died not long after.
So, if you want the source for that, it is the Illuminated Manuscripts Chronicles.
Beautiful.
Well, I guess I could go next. I could segue into that.
Sure.
Well, it's not really a segue at all. Actually, it's got nothing to do with it. My story is from 1893. So we moved on a few years since the last story. I've kind of gone into a Victorian phase.
Hmm.
This is all about the invention of the toaster.
Okay.
The toaster was invented in 1893 by Alan McMasters in Scotland. He called the device the Eclipse toaster, and it was manufactured and marketed by the Crompton Company. But the important thing to remember is this is the first toaster, okay, and it was pretty much a prototype phase, so it only cooked one side at a time. So you had to take the bread out when it was halfway done, turn it over, and do the other side. It was also all open as well. There was no cover on it.
Right.
So it looked like basically a very dangerous looking set of heating coils.
That's
Yeah.
very shocking.
Yes, funny you should mention that, because there was one morning when Mr. McMaster was just out of bed, as you do. He had a cup of tea and he liked some toast. So he put the toast on for one side, got himself a cup of tea, and then apparently there was an accident, and he spilt the tea onto his toaster invention.
Oh no.
I don't know if this was the prototype of the toaster or if it was an actual production model, but it was. But he spilt the tea, and apparently, because there weren't really any fuses back then, he ended up setting fire to his house, and it burnt away like a massive portion of his house. Good news is he was unhurt though. He wasn't hurt, and he lived on his own.
You know.
He could, and also he made enough money so he did get to repair his house again.
Oh, there you go.
So basically, the guy who invented the toaster, did he set his house on fire with a toaster?
Yes.
True or false?
Yeah, basically.
Is that what it is? Like he set his house on fire with his own machine?
Yes, with his own toaster invention, yeah.
You see, you nearly lost me. You had to take it out and toast it on the other side. But then I realized around Christmas I was staying in like a really fancy hotel, like the whole family were.
Ooh.
And we were like, oh, can't wait for breakfast next morning. It's going to be great. Yeah, get up the next morning, go down to hungover as fuck. And I'm like, I just need some toast in me. And I go to put it in, the machine's really weird looking. And I was like, oh, this is a big fancy toast making machine. This is going to be great. You get your bread and you stick it in. And then I'm expecting this like mechanical thing to like turn your bread for you. But no, you have to lift it out and flip it over and toast it yourself.
Like a caveman.
Yes. So that's when I was like, well, your story must be true then. Because, I mean,
So the story must be true.
I guess it's 2021 that happened.
You have to flip your toast.
Yeah,
You had to literally flip your own toast. What
Yes.
the?
Yeah, like a music cassette, you know.
yeah, side A, side B.
When's that hotel coming to the 21st century?
I don't know, but Yeah.
So yeah. So do you think Alan McMaster would burn his own house down with his toaster?
I'll say yeah, sure, because it's not that crazy.
What caused the fire?
He spilled some tea on it, basically. There's electrics, it's basically heating coils and electrics all exposed. He spilled some tea on it and poof, fire.
I mean, there's toasters catch fire today.
That's how electric fires start, generally, I think.
People sticking their knives in them, dropping them in the bath. You hate it when you're making toast, you just drop it in the bath. Oh, shit.
I hate it when that happens.
Dead now.
It's happened to me like 3 times.
Yeah.
You know, with all the crumbs in the bath as well.
This is mental. Like, like those potato waffles you can get? You know what I mean? Like the potato ones? Well, I saw my mum cooking them in a toaster like a few months ago. And that actually blew me away. I was like, I didn't know you could do that. And he's like, yeah, you can. People do it all the time. I was like, what? And I heard of another story as well about a guy actually frying sausages. I'm not taking the piss. A guy frying sausages in the toaster.
Right.
Well,
If
it heats.
If it fits.
If it fits,
It's basically a grill, isn't it? So it grills from both sides.
Yeah, but I never thought of putting my sausages in a toaster. Or my potato waffles.
Well, as Mr. Gray said, if it fits, it'll go in and it'll cook.
Well,
I have to try that with sausages, though. Never
Just-
thought of that.
Just make
You do it
sure.
with the whole burger. You need to put it like, if you have a flat enough burger patty,
yeah, you could,
slide
yeah.
that into the toaster. That would work.
Just make sure it doesn't protrude out of the little brackets inside the toaster and touch the.
Touch the
heating.
heating, or you'll start a house fire like Alan McMaster.
Well, I don't think you'd start a house fire. I think you'd just have some burnt food.
I wonder. I wonder if any maniac out there has actually buttered his bread and then put it in the toaster.
I'm sure it's been done.
I knew a guy one time that stuck a pizza in the oven, but he left all the plastic on it. So the whole house stunk of plastic.
I knew a guy who did the exact same thing with some leftover pork chops. They were in a plastic box, and the plastic box wasn't microwave proof, so I put them in the microwave, and
Wow.
yeah.
I feel like we need to test that thing with the burger in the toaster. I think it'd be a great idea. Plus, you get like little grill marks too if you leave it in.
Oh, I'm up
You know
for
what I
it.
mean? Grilled.
Toasted burger.
But it'd have to be a dedicated toaster because you pull out the tray at the bottom and it'll be like all dirty.
It'll
and-
be all greasy. And,
yeah.
Is it just me? It's not that blown away by it.
Do you do it in the toaster?
I know, but it doesn't really surprise me that you can do that.
Yeah, but it just never. It's like, I don't know. It's like a moment of epiphany for me. It's like, whoa, there was no spoon moment. And you put them in the toaster.
never. I've had very few American snacks. I don't really.
It's such a weird. Like people in America have that for breakfast. Like that drives me insane. Like, that's crazy.
They have pancakes for breakfast as well. Pancakes with syrup on them. I think that's not breakfast.
Yeah, but that's okay. I can take that. That passes okay, just about for me. Pancakes and syrup and.
Back to the story.
So, Mr. Red, do you think it's true? Do you think Alan McMaster, the inventor of the toaster, nearly burned his house down with a toaster?
See, that's the thing. It just seems so plausible. I think you're just trying to go for an easy victory here. So I'm going to say false.
It's almost like saying the man that invented electricity electrocuted himself or something. You know what I mean?
He probably did.
Do you remember a few weeks ago the man who was involved in the invention of the Segway ended up driving off a cliff with it?
Yeah.
Well, guys, I can tell you that Alan McMaster did indeed invent the toaster, but he did not nearly burn his house down with it.
Yeah.
Did I say false? Did I actually say true or false before you?
He said false.
Did I?
Yeah. Well, if you didn't, you strongly implied it.
I can't remember I actually gave an answer or not.
You said it was so plausible that it's probably false.
No, it's so plausible, but I think you're going that way for an easy victory. So I'm going to go. I don't know.
Okay, right. So, moving on, Mr. Black, what have you got for us?
Just perpetually coughing because of this Club Lemon. It just like makes the phlegm levels go overboard. Anyway, speaking of phlegm,
Keeps your throat nice and juicy.
opposite, it like congeals it. All right. This story takes place in the modern day. So even for further forward in time,
Oh, so what sort of year?
today, like just in general,
I say so recently. Then, very
Yeah,
recently.
yeah.
Okay.
the San Francisco turd maps.
True.
San Francisco has had an issue in recent years, mainly homeless people and drug addicts. Plus, you got litter all over the streets. and needles scattered in street corners.
I've heard they have a bit of a defecation problem. Right?
But it's like the shittiest city in the world, literally.
Really?
Yep. And it's not like animal poo. Like, you know the way if you walk through Belmont Park here in Northern Ireland, it's like just filled with dog turds.
Yeah.
You have to like do gymnastics, like in that bit in Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Well, this is poo of questionable origin. These are full-on human turds, just plaguing San Francisco.
Lovely.
And who are these turds deposited by?
Well, bums.
Yes, was it? Oh, yeah.
But
As many as 1,118,352 reports. 1,118,352 reports of human fecal matter have been reported since 2011. The problem is so prevalent, 2 different internet sites took the initiative and logged all instances and reports. OpenTheBooks.com have a 2011 to 2019 San Francisco human waste reportings map, and Arches.com has a San Francisco poop map, which was created to outline to students the problem with poo in San Francisco streets. Maps show quantities and even heat maps of the most affected areas in major zones, as well as isolated incidents in the city outskirts.
You say heat maps.
Yeah.
This is like
Steam
when they're fresh.
Steam coming off them, yeah. In one incident,
it's obviously going to be to do with the density.
the quantity. Here's a big heat map here in this incident. One incident, a 20-pound bag of poo was spotted, like in a bag.
Why? Why in a bag?
Who would pay £20 for it?
Spotted on the street in the city's Tenderloin district. Tenderloin district, and another incident involving a large mound of poop with 2 hypodermic needles placed on top, causing a danger to everyone, and in particular animals.
You're gonna love the presentation.
Animals and children. Don't panic, however, as the problem seems to be turning a corner. U-bend. With only 13,856 reports this year compared to 16,547 last year.
Oh, wow. It's like a whole clean city then.
That's ridiculous.
I know, massive improvement.
That's... wow.
So
how do these maps get filled in then?
Well,
So do people go out and look for it, or is it just like community, like if they come across one, they press the button on their phone or something?
I'm assuming to whoever runs the map, you just log it with them.
Right.
Yep, you log it. 2 different. Yeah, so you can use an app called Snapcrap.
Snapcrap.
Yeah, like Snapchat. Snapcrap. Or you can just go on to openthebooks.com. Give it. Or no, that study's closed. San Francisco poop map, and if you go onto that, just Google San Francisco poop map. You can go on, and it'll just show you the
Poop.
yeah.
So why don't they just make more toilets in San Francisco?
Costs money.
It costs money to clean up the poop every day.
Well,
Not that they do, it seems.
Is it not because San Francisco has a large homeless population and
I think as it stands,
it does not cause more problems? And if you're to put outdoor toilet facilities, they'll end up using those for, drug-related activities. And
well, no, it doesn't stack.
You'll be pulling some corpses out of them.
It doesn't stack up because I read there were about 7,500 homeless people currently in San Francisco, but that's a lot of shit. Like that's, I mean, if they're all starving, like they're not like it's not like they're having full bellies every night.
You
So
say 7,000 homeless.
7,500. So
Well,
let's
there's
say last year 16,547 shits reported on the street.
They're only the reported ones.
Yes,
They could be like 3 times as many as that.
and I mean like the 20-pound bag. That's obviously a couple of
That's a lot of shit.
dumps in the one bag, so that's probably reported as one incident.
Yeah. There could be like several piles.
How many pounds is the average shit? 2 pounds?
I wouldn't even pay £1.
No, not £2, surely. Maybe
£2.
the odd one, when you've had a lot of meat and it just, like probably about a day after a barbecue. You have a lot of
£2.
meat and it just comes out like an asteroid.
Yeah, so £2. Let's say
That'd be
three.
a big one, yeah.
Well, anytime I've shat, I mean, we've all done it.
I haven't
Where
weighed
you weighed yourself before and then after.
I haven't actually, no.
I lost £2
I
once.
can't say I've done that either. No.
I've done it once. I was curious. So I lost £2 one time in 5 minutes. So let's say £20 bag. That's 10 dumps, and that's one instance. That's one report. So let's say for 16,547 times 10, that's probably the real number per year of dumps in the street.
It's a lot of dumps.
So 165,470.
Well, I can tell you that I think that's true. I think there is a big poop problem in San Francisco, and that sounds like a sensible way to warn other people about it.
The poop map.
The poop map.
I think the best thing to do is just avoid San Francisco.
That also sounds like a good idea.
Yep. I am also aware that San Francisco has a large poo problem. So
They're
And I
actually making
vaguely- I-
artwork with it. Just sticking fucking needles in their turds.
I vaguely remember hearing about a map about poo in San Francisco. So
Well, I
I'm going to
think
say true.
I think it just makes sense. I mean, when there's a community crisis, people make maps. Remember McBroken?
Do
A
you think
map
that-
of all the broken McDonald's McFlurry machines.
Yes.
That's when a crisis arises, the internet will rise up to the challenge.
Like there was an episode of something aired on TV recently, but it was like a cop drama thing, no, like CSI or something. But it's not like CSI; it's more like a street cop thing, TV series. But there's an episode where like a woman gets stuck with a needle by accident,
Yeah.
like when she's like sort of tussling with like homeless people, like arresting somebody. And I'm pretty sure it was set in San Francisco as well.
It's a pretty shitty city, so it wouldn't surprise me. As you said.
So go on, do tell.
Well, it's
It
fucking,
is real, yeah.
it's fucking true, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's the sad fact of it.
it's quite sad, really.
Well, there you go.
Let's just think back to the guy who didn't kill himself with his own toaster. That's a much happier note to end on.
On the happier note, until next time.
Bye.
Bye. Use the toilet.